Give me just a second. Let me grab this hardware cloth. Boom, we got hardware cloth. This is 1/4 inch. We're gonna be making a 4-leaf clover trap. You'll need 10 foot, 36 inches tall, 19 gauge is preferable. The heavier gauge, the better, honestly, guys. And anyway, let's lay this out and get started, guys. You're also going to need this mini mouse chair. Without it, none of this is possible. It won't work proper. You won't catch any fish. This is the best way to catch your bait for your jug lines, your trot lines, your just fishing in general, stocking up on bait fish. Whatever you're into, if you need bait, bluegill, minnows. Yeah, you can catch minnows with this trap. We're going to get into that later. In a couple weeks. You're gonna peel off all this trash, clearly. Then what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want these traps to be about 2 foot. These are 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch mesh. You can do it however you want to. You can count out the 1/2 inches or however you want. Some people use 1/4 inch hardware cloth. I prefer the 1/2 inch. It kind of filters out some of the smaller fish, so you don't have to. Because some of them just won't be usable, guys. And then this wire, you can actually use it to help you. I got zip ties, but I have in the past used this wire that comes wrapped around the hardware cloth to make my trap. Right now I just want to get it off there. But it is nice wire, it works good. It's real pliable. I think it's galvanized. It may be stainless, I don't know. It's been a while. I don't remember it ever rusting out, so I think it's definitely galvanized, but it may be stainless. And it is on there, guys. I could just keep cutting it, but I just don't want a bunch of little pieces around here that I gotta pick up later, but we're gonna go ahead and do that anyways. There we go. Alright, we got it free. Get all this crap out of your way, guys. We ain't got it free. We thought we had it free, we didn't have it free. Alright, get all that junk out of your way. And then this is the tricky part. You're going to need a board. You don't need a board, but a board's nice to have. It's that way you're not cutting into the dirt or just whatever. Make it a little bit easier to lay out, guys. And really another board or a rock will help you out a lot too. You're going to want to roll it out. And it's not going to want to be rolled out. Take just a little piece of board. It doesn't matter. You can use a 2x4 or 4x4. Probably the thicker the board, the better. You probably wouldn't need a rock. But this is what we got, so that's what we're going to use. We're going to lay that out like that. And we're going to measure 2 foot. There's 2 foot right there. Now we're going to take our grinder. You could use dikes if you wanted to. Now that we got that going that way, we're going to need 2 of these. 2 foot by 2 foot, guys. We're just going to get us a rough estimate here. There's our other 2 foot mark. Hold that piece down. Guys, this is kind of a little bit, not super hard to do or nothing, but it will cut you up. Now, I'm just gonna start working my way inwards. You could get a Sharpie. I'm not going to, it's hard to see and I can't see that great as it is. Now, you do need to be careful. These wires are sharp, and they'll get you. I'm gonna shave mine down a little bit. Now you're going to want to you want to keep this piece just the way it is, because it's going to come into play later, so don't just cut it off there, guys. Or this is how I build my trap. You can build yours however you want to. This is how I've had the best success doing this. There are other videos out there on the same trap, but everybody's got their own little technique or way to do things, which is you know, great. We're free to do that. So I'm gonna measure out 2 foot again, because we already know where it is that coming this way, because we got this line to go off of. I really need another rock or something, or a board. There we go. We'll just lay that board on there. We're gonna hold this down flat. And we're gonna get between, you see how it's got these little spikes on there from where we cut it in half? We're gonna hook it like so in between those pieces, so we get an accurate reading for what's 2 foot. All right, so 2 foot is right here. I'm gonna hold my finger there. Now we're gonna start cutting. Now that we got that cut started, we're gonna come back down through here and we're gonna start cutting this way until we make those two meet.
What did you say?
Go swim, baby. Go play. Okay, thank you.
I just had a
This isn't a real good project to involve your kids on. It'll cut you up if you're not careful, and then this grinder throwing these sparks and stuff, and I don't want her getting nothing in her eye. So it's not a really great project for kids, but they will have fun pulling this perch trap up out of the water when they get the opportunity to. Like that, it got me. We got a little bit of blood there, but that's fine. I just want you to be prepared for it, because it will happen. It'll definitely happen. Now we've got our top and our bottom. I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to cut those spikes off of there. I don't think you guys need to hang around for that. Alright guys, we're coming up a couple minutes later. We're coming up on our first corner here, our first 90-degree corner for the corner of the trap. And it's the same thing, guys. I just find the wire that's going to line up with that corner, and I go through there and I just kind of, you know, just bend it slow. You kind of just get it into place, you know, just work it until it works. I'm already itching to go set this trap. I'm ready to get some bluegill. By the end of this video, we'll be taking the four-wheeler down the road. We're gonna go set this sucker. Kids will be happy. Now we're going back on this straight again here. So we want to go ahead and kind of get an idea where the center is. There's 2 foot, and there's 1 foot. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of get it halfway lined up there. So that way I'll know when I'm getting close with my zip ties. So that way I'll know when to start checking it and double checking it. You don't want to go past that. You could make this 4-leaf clover trap. You could really just do 2 openings. I'm going to do 4 because I always do 4. I always do 4 holes on my trap. I've seen Z traps and different kinds of traps that they came out with, and I know that they all work just fine. But I grew up with 4-leaf clover traps, and until they're illegal, I'm going to keep running 4-leaf clover traps. If they are, I doubt, hopefully they'll never become illegal, but you never know today, so. You never know today what's going to happen tomorrow. I sold these to a bait store a while back, and I used to sell them, and they had guys coming from Missouri. They'd said, I guess they ain't allowed to have these there, so they was coming all the way down to Oklahoma, all the way to Claremore. They weren't just coming inside the state line, they were coming full blown coming to Oklahoma. They were coming in here. They were traveling to get here about, you know, 2 hours or so to come and get a perch trap. That's what the bait store guy told me. How true that is or whatever, I don't know. One guy bought a perch trap from me and then left it in the bed of his truck and went through a car wash, and I guess it ripped it out of there or destroyed it or something. I don't remember exactly how his story went, but he wanted another one, so I sold him another one. Told him they ain't made to go through the car wash or towed behind your boat or nothing like that. Alright, we're going to get one more in here. I'm going to take this second bend, and then I'm going to get back to you guys when I'm putting the top on, because it's more or less the same thing repetitively. It won't go any faster with the camera being off, but I feel like you guys have probably seen me zip tie these enough and do enough bends. You guys about got it figured out now. You can probably go from here on this point of the video and build one yourself by now. Alright, yep, that's where we wanted it at. So we're going to do this last bend real quick, guys. Then I'll finish it out and I'll get back with you guys when we're putting on the top, or maybe when we're closing the box off. So that way you guys can get an idea of what it looks like before I put the top on. We got a bait tube that's going in here. We got a lot of interesting stuff that's going on with it. We ain't quite done yet. We got to build a door. We got some stuff to go to do still. I'm going to do one more of these with you guys. Like I said, I don't want to hold you up for the entire duration of the build, because by now I think you guys have about got it figured out. It's not rocket science. Let's see, we're going to go right there. Not exactly rocket science, guys. It's just a little time consuming is all. people could probably do this faster, but I'm sure there's someone that can. And that is good for them. It takes me a little bit of time, guys. Especially when there's this dag blasted, whatever the heck that thing is. Keeps holding up my wire while I'm trying to move it around. There we go. So we about got that about perfect. Alright, now let's wrap this around, and you'll get the idea where that name 4-leaf clover comes from here in just a minute. You can kind of see how this makes a petal on it like a clover. But it's just that simple, guys. We're just going to keep on working our way around. I got to look up the law on how big I'm allowed to make the holes. Ideally, I'd like to make them about 4 inches tall and about 2 inches wide or 1.5 inches wide. Anyway, I'm going to get wrapped around and then I'll holler at you guys. All right, guys, we're on the home stretch. And so we're just going to finish this off together. I want you guys to have had adequate time to learn what you need to be able to replicate this. And if you haven't, well, you can always rewind it and watch it again. Or not. Alright, well, if we can get this last piece to cooperate with us, let's see if I stick my finger through there. There we go. Go. Alright, guys, let's see what we got going on here. So I'm just going to keep following it around the same way I have been. Get that wire coming back, and if you'll notice, we've got the perfect amount of wire here to build this trap. I mean, it's literally going to be dead on, guys. More or less. I think I'll have a little bit of excess to cut off. Hopefully I have a little bit of excess to cut off. If memory serves me right, this ends up being perfect. It has been about 5 or 6 years since I built a perch trap. That's too long, but...
Hey, Dad.
Hey, what?
Can you silence Grandma's ring on her camera?
On her phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, bring it here.
Because I don't want to listen to it keeps dinging twice.
Well, it keeps dinging because I'm out here in the driveway, silly.
I know.
Yep, I can silence it. There you go, baby.
And Grandma tried to turn it down, and I was like, no, that's not how you do it. Because I got...
All right, guys, we're on the home stretch here. As far as this bottom section goes, it's all gravy from here. Now we can roll this box up on its end, lean it over this way or whatever. Let me pause you guys for a second. All right, guys, we're on the downhill stretch. Let me get this camera rolling. Let me see what you guys can see. And we'll take off from there. All right, you guys can see the box. Okay, so we've got all of our entrances made, which are these little triangle sections. Now, that we're on this last corner. So what you're going to want to do is, you see that wire right there, you're going to want to line it up with the corner. Line it up best you can. You're going to want to get a few zip ties on it. Once you do that, it'll be workable. Anyhow. We still got a little bit to do before this project is done. We still got to build a bait tube, a door, and so on. But you want to follow this line right on down, guys. And then what I like to do is, instead of cutting it off right where it's at, I'm gonna cut it off a couple inches long and then fold it over and zip tie it to the dill. And it just makes this corner joint a little bit stronger, because it's not necessary, it's already probably strong enough, but it also keeps it from having sharp edges on the very corners. Another thing you'll want to do is take you a pair of pliers. It don't have to be dikes or anything. Get you a pair of pliers, and down here on these corners, you see how it's got that sharp corner right there? You're just going to want to roll that up, guys. Just roll it up like that and roll it back into itself, and that'll keep it from snagging on you. It won't completely eliminate that issue, but it will reduce it. It won't be nearly as bad. These are snaggy little dudes. Like I said, they will tear your skin up. But if you're as excited about fishing as I am, and you figure it out, you'll quit snagging yourself pretty quickly. You're gonna need some rope from here. You know, about probably 12 foot of rope is good enough. I don't know how big of a piece of rope I'm gonna use yet. I haven't figured it out, but I will get there. A few more zip ties, guys. And then we gotta go back and cut all these off. A smart fella might have done it as he went along, but you know, now I'm not gonna take the grinder to this. I'm just gonna use these dikes, and we're gonna make quick work of this. Like I said, I'm gonna leave it a little long, and that's all right. A good pair of thin leather gloves would help on this job too. I just don't feel like it, so I'm not. And a good pair of dikes would help too, because this pair is not worth a dang it. Cut a few. I'm not seeing what the issue is, but it's got one. There we go. I guess there's a bad spot on these dikes. It's all right. We can get around that. Now, with this piece right here, you should be able to. It's already the right height and everything. So we're going to pause from that for a second. We're going to get this tube. Well, it ain't a tube yet. We're going to roll it into a tube, guys. Let me get back here where you can see. Let's move this out of the way. We're going to go ahead and start forming our bait tube. This is what's going to keep your bait in the center to make them fish want to come into the trap. You can just throw dog food in there, and I did that for a long time, and it worked great. But I feel like when I started doing this, I started catching more fish. And this doesn't have to be perfect. This doesn't have to be perfect at all, guys. It just needs to hold dog food. So you're going to want to use bigger dog food, not like some, probably not puppy chow. Puppy chow is probably not a good choice. At least whatever, if it's not fine dog food. You don't want little bitty dog food. You don't want to use cat food, because it'll come out of this. These are kind of sharp, so I'm trying to get them. Let's see here. Yeah, I want them bent to end, because it won't matter with the dog food, but I don't want my bait getting all scarred up before it goes into battle. I don't want that happening. So we'll just bend those in, and you can cut them off there if you wanted to. I just don't feel like it. It's easier to just bend them in. Yeah, just something like that. Then I'm going to take those other ones, and I'm going to kind of intertwine them, if I can get it to work with me. Maybe I am, maybe I ain't. We ain't. I think in the past I always cut these off, But like I said, for what it is, it doesn't really matter. It's just gonna hold dog food. If you make this out of the 1/4 inch mesh instead of the 1/2 inch mesh, you'll be working with the 23 gauge wire, and it's even sharper, guys. This thicker wire isn't nearly as bad to work with. We don't need many zip ties here, but see how I've made that into a cone? We're just gonna put probably 4 or 5 zip ties on there. Yep, 4. We're gonna go for 4. But we may end up using 5. I don't know yet. We'll see. We're definitely going to end up getting that other pack of zip ties out. So you need about 150 zip ties. By the time you figure in the door and everything else, that's what I'm speculating anyways. But you'll use, yeah, we got a lot more zip tying to do. See, I only put 1 on these corners, and you really need to come back and put 2 more on each one of those. So there's quite a bit of zip tying going on here, guys. Quite a bit. They make some little round things, some little metal things, and some little fancy pliers with some little crimp things that you could be using. But we clearly aren't doing that. I'm going to fold these sharp wires over because I don't know, you know, I'll be hauling this on the boat and everything else. You don't have to do this, but I'm gonna. If you got kids, you kind of want to make this kid friendly because kids enjoy this quite a bit. So getting rid of as many sharp edges as possible is a good idea. It's a good idea for yourself anyway, but honestly, if I didn't have kids, I wouldn't worry about it. All right, so there we go. We got our bait tube. Something like that. That's going to go right here in the center, but we're not going to worry about that just yet. We've got that made. We've got it out of the way. We're going to go ahead and make this corner a hard corner. We're just going to fold it right down that line. Something like that. That's perfect. Now we're going to Google what the law is on bait traps in Oklahoma so we know how big we can make these holes. What is the largest hole I'm allowed to have on a bait trap in Oklahoma? There's no specification for the height, but it's 2 inches on the width. So we're gonna go about 4 inches. 4 inches. We'll start with 1.5 inches. We can always widen it out later. So 2 inches across. They don't want us catching, oh crap, they don't want us catching their anything that might be a state record bluegill, I guess. I don't know. That screw right there is pretty sharp. So we're gonna pull this up on our lap. What we're gonna do, well, we're gonna set it right here where you guys can see, hopefully. Let me check this camera out, guys. I wanna make sure you guys are getting all this. I don't want you guys to be missing anything. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna measure. We got a foot from there to there, roughly a foot. It'll be about 11.5 inches by the time we're done. So we got about 11.5 inches. So we're gonna come to the 3-inch mark. We're going to cut it. We're going to bend it up so that way we know where we're at. I'm going to come out here on the outside and do it because it's easier for my sakes. Hey. I'm going to come 3 inches down. Yeah, let's see what that adds up to be. That adds up to be a 5-inch opening, guys. A 5-inch opening. And to me, the trick is to keep these sharp, honestly. When the bait goes in, I don't want it to be easy for him to come back out. And we're gonna go one over that way. And we're gonna come over one over this way. And we're gonna come back over here. Come back over here. So this opening is looking like it'll be about 1.5 inches wide. Now I'm gonna use these pliers for a spacer. I'm gonna show you guys what I'm talking about. These dikes are so wide, I want a spike on there. I don't want the fish to come back out easy. They mostly won't come out anyways, but we're gonna do it like this. And I'm just gonna go down through there. And I'm going about halfway in on the dike. So it's leaving a nice little spike that I can bend inwards once I'm done to get the desired opening that I want. This don't have to be perfect, but it needs to be pretty close, guys. We got that off there. Now I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side, except for I'm gonna roll these dikes over so that way we keep equal spacing on both sides, guys. Two-inch opening. Well, guys, I don't know, but that'll fit a pretty good sized bluegill through there, so we ought to be all right. Now I'm going to repeat the process. I'll cut you guys back on in a minute. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and start putting in the dang it, there we go. We're going to start putting in this bait tube. Right before we start putting on the top. I feel like it's easier to do now. So you just get it about centered. What you want to call true center. We're going to go right there. That's going to be our first one, if we can make it work. Okay, we're going to try that again. Now we're going to hold it. Pick up the trap. Again, guys, it's always the first zip tie that's the hardest on any of this project. There we go, guys. We got it in there. It's probably not perfectly centered, but it doesn't really honestly matter. It just needs to be relatively centered to do what we need it to do. And it's relatively centered. And then you only need 2 zip ties to hold it in if we can get a second zip tie going. Now it's going to be a cakewalk from here the whole rest of the way through it. We're going to take that top that we cut earlier. Well, before we do that, actually, what do I do with my dikes? I just had them. Well, crap. Ow. That's a booby trap. There they are. Take these dikes. I'm going to fold all of these little spiky dudes over, get them out of the way. Yeah, we only have 1 million left to go. They're kind of sharp, so the dikes do make it easier, but the grinder would be faster, but I really don't want to wear out the galvanize any faster than I have to, because it's going to be spending most of its, a good bit of its life in the water. And so it's going to inevitably form rust, deteriorate, and rot. Guys, you'll catch crawdads in this trap, bullheads. You'll catch a little bit of everything of whatever's living in that body of water. Little red ear slider turtles that sometimes die. There ain't really nothing you can do about that. You set traps out, you know, and they get in there, and then there's no way for them to get air, and so it's just sometimes it is part of what happens. Snakes also this time of year. you'll get banded water snakes. They'll have a belly full of bluegill and they'll be drowned. They'll drown themselves. You guys get ready for the grammar police in the comments. All right, we're getting there.
Hi, you are currently being recorded.
That damn camera up there, boys and girls. Someone stole our camper last year, so we had to go ahead and buy the old camera system, which has turned out to be a good thing to have anyways. You never know. And, you know, today's society, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it, so. There we go. Now that we got that ready, we're going to take this wire and we're going to kind of backbow it a little bit, guys, because it's hard to work if it's trying to roll up on you the entire time you're trying to work it. All right, let's get it done. That's all there is to it. Well, that's a horrible zip tie to use. That's one I clipped off, guys. Ain't zipping up much with that. I'm probably going to go pretty loosely around the top, just to give you guys a general idea. And then I'll button it up off camera. But I'm kind of pressed for time at the moment. Not really, but kind of. Alright. So, anyway, you're going to want to zip tie the corners first. If you don't, then it'll get all cattywampus on you. So you're going to want to pull it over, get it to the corner. It'll all start making sense in a little bit. Until then, just bear with me. Because it's all kind of warped until you get this top piece on. None of it's exactly true, but we'll get it going our way here in a minute. You just gotta work out the bugs. Let's get that last corner done so that way we can get all the bugs we can worked out of before we even get started laying this wire down. Put one more on that corner. That's one more than I wanted to put, but it's not wanting to cooperate, so. There we go. She's gonna cooperate now. Make sure that's all going in flat, guys. Make sure you got your spacing right. We got it right now. Now you're going to come back around and you're going to go to every one of those little inlets. That's what we're going to call it. I guess that's what it is, inlet. Lets fish in. Inlet, let in. I don't know. You guys starting to see why they call it a 4-leaf clover design. Now I've ran these and I ran these a lot deeper. I just don't feel that it's necessary. I feel like the less time that they're hem-hawing around and they're getting in the trap, the better. They don't need that much time to make up their mind. They either need to get in or stay out. At least that's how I feel about it. Now on all the corners, I do recommend doubling it up. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this piece out.
You are currently being recorded.
And it needs quite a few zip ties, guy. It has a lot. When it's full of fish, this thing will get heavy. It'll have a lot of resistance coming through the water. So the more zip ties, the merrier. I know it seems a bit redundant and probably like you don't need that many, but you do. Especially if you're setting it in a spot that's loaded with bluegill, green sunfish, and the regulars. But you'll also catch creek chubs and the sword all in this trap, guys. The creek we're setting it at, we're only going to catch green sunfish. Maybe some snakes, and that's about it. When you cut your door out, the rest of this hardware cloth, you're going to want to get your door out of the rest of the hardware cloth, and the reason that is because you're going to want your door to be oversized. When you cut it out, you're going to cut it in one of these 1/4 of this trap. You're going to end up putting a door, and you're going to want that door to be bigger than the opening. So I have used the piece that I cut out of the door spot, but after a while the sharp pieces start bending in, and so you're going to want to cut your door out of a separate piece of hardware cloth altogether. Alright guys, sorry for the delay. We ran out of zip ties. Imagine that. Start getting these corners tucked away. They're not perfect. They could have been better, but I guarantee you they'll catch fish. A bunch of them too. So this will cut back on me having to go catch bait during the middle of the week, because I'll have this, and then I have my, I don't remember if it's 100 or 75 gallon trough. But I got a big pump, and it works good for keeping bait alive for a couple days. It's in the shade. And for bluegill, it works just fine. For shad, it works good in the wintertime. For crappie, it works okay for most of the year, except for the hotter months. But the bluegills, they're always good for a couple days, guys. Especially if you've got a pump on it, something to circulate the water, you're going to be good. That's the most important part, is having a pump. It would help if we had some good cold well water. We don't. We probably could. We may in the future. Probably be expensive to get a well dug just for to keep your bait fresh, but you never know. I can also haul in water that already has beneficial bacteria and stuff. I can haul it in from a clean lake in my live wells on my boat, or from below the dam. That's highly oxygenated, right by the mouth of the dam, where the water's coming out through the gates. That might not be a bad idea. I've never done that per se. I've brought it home and put it in the live well to get the temperature pretty close to keep bait alive, but not specifically from a dam or anything. But I just feel like that water's coming right off the bottom of the lake, and so I feel like that'd be good water to, and it's getting oxygenated going through those blades. I feel like it'd be good water to bring home to keep your bait in good shape. We'll add more zip ties to this in the future. But right now, we're just trying to get it fishing so I can get this done. I need to get it in the water tonight. And if you can't tell, the sun is going down. And yeah, I need it to be catching bait tonight. And but I can walk out there, so I'm not really worried about it coming undone or anything. And I'm not really worried about any fish getting out of it. We've got her buttoned up pretty good. We're just gonna go ahead and get this side right here. When we get it buttoned up, guys, we're gonna button up the bait tube, build a gate for it. We got to build a door to get the bait out of, and that's pretty much it, guys. I'll show you a good way to attach a rope too while we're here. I don't like to just tie a rope onto it because I feel like it pulls too hard. That bait tube in the middle also adds a lot of rigidity to the trap. Doing these corners like this with the zip ties, putting multiple zip ties on these corners, that also makes it more rigid versus if you just put one right at the point of the entrance.
Hi. You are currently being recorded.
If you just did one, it would want to crinkle right there in the middle, but putting a few throughout there, it keeps it pretty rigid, guys. We're almost done. We are moving. You should probably clean the zip ties up on there, but I'm not going to for the sakes of this video. And future videos, when I show you guys the bait trap, they'll all be cleaned up and cut off there. But for now, they're not going to hurt anything. Now we need to get a door cut. Let's get our safety glasses on. You're going to want this door to be big enough that you can get all the perch out and you can reach your hand in there when you need to, so on and so forth, you know, so be fairly generous when cutting the door. Alright, now that is a big door, but we won't have any problem dumping our bluegill out of there into a 5-gallon bucket. No problem at all, and if we got to reach in there to get them out of there or whatever we got to do, we got plenty of room to do that. I feel like that's more important. It's just important, guys. Let's get a couple of... we're going to cut this hole out with a pair of dikes because it doesn't have to be that big of a hole to stuff dog food down. It does need to be a fairly open hole. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to put one zip tie there for now just to get it held in place. And we're going to come through here and we're going to start cutting out for the bait hole.
Hi. You are currently being recorded.
Let's see what we got here. We got one piece of wire right there, guys. Alright, let's cut off those two. Now that bait hole is nice and open, guys. You can make you a makeshift funnel or get a funnel or whatever you want to do. And yeah, you can get bait in there now. Now these zip ties that are going over this spot, we are going to clean them up because they'll be in the way of the door. Then I'm going to show you how I make the door for the main trap door, the main part. It's the most important part. Remember, we're not trying to catch minnows here. So if you're a little sloppy and you have, this is 1/2-inch hardware mesh, guys. So, you're going to have a lot of fish filtering through there that aren't coming to hang out. You could clean this up But again, this is for dog food, so you could have put these, actually you still might be able to. You could roll these to the inside, and that'll make your bait door set flatter. But honestly, it doesn't matter. So now, you can take this door, take it, find a line right there, just like that, set it down, and start bending it up. This is going to make it a tougher door by having it doubled over. We're going to see how big we need it to be. Not very big. We're going to come 3 lines down, 3 wires down, and we're going to fold it over. Then we're going to grab it right here, about 3 lines down again, and we're going to fold it over. Now it's going to start getting a little tight on you. Let's see. We're going to cut it off about right here. Now we're going to fold it over as well, just like we did these other sides. We're going to fold it over one more time. Then you can get you a piece of wood or a hammer or a little mallet or something, and you can come around here and smash it flat. Just like that, guys, we got a door. Now we're going to put some few zip ties through there for hinges, and we'll have to find a hair tie of the wives. Or you can just zip tie it closed, you know, and just bring you a couple zip ties with you every time you go set it out or whatever. But you're going to just take you a couple zip ties, run them down through there. I'm telling you guys, what gauge was this wire? This is 19 gauge, is a heck of a lot better to work with than the 23 gauge. It's like little needles. Like all this stuff would be tearing me up reaching in here. Just reaching in here will get you torn up. But it's not that bad on this wire. I think I've came out with less scratches on this one than I have any other one. I usually just use dikes instead of that grinder, but this was faster for video purposes and so on and so forth. Now we're going to clean up these zip ties because they're on our hinges and we don't want them interfering with us or anything like that. Now here's the kicker. We're going to get a hair tie and we're going to put it on here, and then I like to take a paper clip and then I just bend it into a little hook with a little eye on it, and then I put a hair tie on there, and then I just go from here to here, and then that rubber band holds that shut. Let's go ahead and make a door for the main door so we can get that out of the way so we can go get this trap set. I'm going to drag this, what we got left over here, up this way. Let's see. That seems like a good measurement to me. Get that out of the way. Now we got to fold that down to fit. So we're just going to go, you know, it doesn't really matter where you start. We're just going to go about 1.5 inches or 2 inches inbound, and we're going to smash it flat. And see, that already made it somewhat flatter on this side as opposed to this side. That's going to make your door set flat. Now let's see where we need to come from here. Take them glasses off. I want about a 1/2 inch overhang on it, all sides, guys. So we're gonna come to this strand here. Half inch, 3/4 of an inch. You want some overlap. Again, rubber mallet or hammer will make quick work of this, or a piece of wood. Now we're getting pretty flat, right? Let's see what we need so we know what we're working with here. This one we're gonna have to bend it a little bit tighter, guys. Alright, this last one is going to be a hard one. We may not even put a bend on it. No, we're going to. We'll figure it out. That's kind of what we do. Now I'm going to put it on this piece of wood because I need a tight radius bend, or it's going to be hard to do by hand is what I'm getting at. But if I can get this piece of wood to stay here, I'm sure I can get it with it. Let's see what I can do here. We're gonna jimmy rig us a brake. Well, maybe we're not. Maybe we are, I don't know. We're gonna figure something out, by golly. I ain't never done it this way, but we're gonna. There we go. Now that we got it started, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. And that's what I thought. Once we got her to go, she'll go. Now we're gonna just hammer that flat. That door is pretty rigid, guys. That door is gonna work out just fine. Now this is an important part too. You want the door to open either this way or this way. And since I'm thinking I'm going to be dumping my bluegill out of this corner, I don't want this door falling back down in the way. So I'm going to do it this way. So we're going to come over here. We're going to get our zip ties in there. We'll just go right through there. Just like that, guys. We're gonna come over here. We're gonna put one in the middle too. You don't need a bunch of zip ties, but you need a few. This is the only moving part of your whole trap right here, these two doors. And you want them to work, so. Like I said, we're just gonna zip tie it shut tonight. I'll show you guys that rubber band thing. I'll make a YouTube short about it or something. But literally, you can bungee cord it shut. You can do whatever you want. And that's essentially what I do with the rubber band. I just make my own simple little bungee cord system, and it works out just fine for me. But for testing purposes tonight, we are going to just zip tie everything shut. I'm gonna go get some dog food, and I'll be right back, guys. Alright guys, we're going to put some dog food in here. We just got some like old Roy or something, I don't know. We got some dog food nonetheless. The dogs will surely pick up the mess I made in the driveway, since they won't stay in the yard.
What about your mess?
Yeah, I got to pick up my mess. The dogs can't pick up that stuff. We're going to put this zip tie on here to hold the bait in. Zip tie on the main door. If we can manage to get it through there and come back out the top, that'll work. That'll do it. Alright guys, we're gonna go set this trap. Crap, I already zip tied that dang door shut, and I was gonna show you guys a good way to put your rope on there. You tie you a knot in your rope. I'm using an old bungee cord, or old jump rope, I mean. I'm gonna trim the fat. And then you want to get it going down one of the sides, because you're going to want it to pick up from a corner, but you're going to want it to be, you don't want it to pull all from, like you don't want to go across here. You want it to go down somewhere that's rigid. So we're going to go down here, and you don't want to pull from all from the corner either, so that's why I'm putting it down here a ways. So that way it's pulling from this whole seam right here, and not just across the top, you know. I promise you, your trap will last longer if you don't just tie it on to a corner, and having it attached to multiple parts like this. Well, if one of these gets rusted and weak, it'll keep your trap. It'll save you from having to go swimming for it, more or less. You want to have a good, solid pulling point. And so that right there will get you in the game where you won't lose your trap and you won't be swimming. And if you're trapping bluegill in shallow water and it's summertime, you'll probably be swimming in less than desirable water to be swimming in. Now let's go get on the four-wheeler and go get this trap set. First I gotta clean up the driveway, so you guys just bear with me. I'm gonna turn you guys off. When I cut you guys back on, we'll be going down the road. Well guys, here we go. We're on the four-wheeler, headed down the road, and apparently somebody is leaf blowering the road, which is interesting. Hopefully their dog and my dog get along. My dog's running the road. I've never seen their dog before, so I don't know. Looks like a German Shepherd though. But anyways, we're gonna get on down the road and I'll catch you guys at the perch spot. Alright guys, we are at the creek. This is the spot. Make sure if you're setting your trap in a creek, there's no rain forecasted. Okay, now this dam is a little tricky to walk up. But this is loaded with green sunfish. Hang on, I'll pan you guys around after we set the trap out. That's it guys, the trap is set. The trap is working. There's a series of beaver dams here. And hopefully the beaver don't cut my rope, but if he does, we know where the trap is. We're just gonna hang that down like that. We'll be able to find it in the morning. Hey, I'll catch you guys in the morning. Let's see how she worked. All right, guys, we're at the little roadside ditch spilling way thing. There's fish in here, but it's not that deep in here, so I didn't want to set the perch trap there because I feel like I'd get more snakes and turtles and so on and so forth. But let's get muddy first thing this morning. We gotta get up here and get some water in our bucket so we can keep our bluegill. We're gonna also pull the trap out for now because we don't want to leave it here over weekend because we won't be here. And if it rains or it floods, guys, it will wash your trap away. So I'm gonna do the best I can. I didn't bring my tripod with me. Let's start pulling this trap up. Oh my gosh, look at that, guys. Look at that. Oh, we got a big old crawdad. We got a bunch of green sunfish. Look at the size of that, dude. That's a big green sunfish, guys. And we're just gonna, I'm gonna have to chew that open because I didn't bring a knife with me like a dummy. But let's see if we can't get a stick in there and break that one zip tie and get them dumped in the bucket. And guys, that's what it's about right there. We just gotta break this one zip tie. See, we'll get that stick in there and we will twist. Now we have access to them. We got actually 2 crawdads in there. Nope, 3. We got 3 or 4 crawdads in there, guys. We're gonna put them in the tank too. We're gonna take them fishing with us. That's a long, lanky dude. He's got some long, weird pinchers, guys. Let's get you guys up like this. We got bluegill and brim. We got all those fish, guys. Look at all that. Look at that. I'm gonna show you how big that one guy is. Let me get him out of there. For those of you that know me, you know how big my hand is. That dude is bigger than my hand. That's a big green sunfish right there. That's a good one. But we got flathead bait for the weekend. We also got these big crawdads, these big mud bugs, guys. I told you it would catch them. Look, we're gonna dump most of these fish out of here. I did expect to catch more big ones, but these will honestly do just fine. Get in there, mud bug. Hopefully you guys are seeing what I got going on. We gotta get these perch out of here, guys. See, that'll work for bait, guys. Elephants eat peanuts, and you know, you've heard the sayings. We got some other creeks we're gonna set it in. Not right now. See, and that gives us, see, we got a variety pack of bait here. We can go run trot lines, run limb lines. This is the best way to get the best jug line bait. For sure, no doubt. Oh, let's get this dude up here. He's trying to hide out, but we're gonna get him. Get off there, boy. Get off there. There we go, we got him. We got him. You can just go like that. Honestly, I was just trying to do it that way for the camera's sake, but this is actually how you do it. You get that hole centered up over your bucket, and you just kind of bounce them around until they all go in there. And this little dude here, he's kind of stuck. Torture mechanism, I guess. I don't know. There, we got them all in the bucket. That dog food, honestly, will be in there next time we use this trap, if it don't fly out going down the road on the four-wheeler. But we're gonna pull the trap out, guys. We're gonna go get them perch in the live well. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you liked the demonstration with the trap. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace. Alright guys, it's a little loud, a little noisy, but we got a pump here. We got it recirculating water, disturbing the surface, and putting bubbles in the water. So we got oxygen going in. Sorry about the not being weed eating back here. Let's get one more look at what all we caught. We're gonna dump it into this. Oh, and we still got these crawdads in here. We're gonna save them. I got an idea. Let's pick this up. Look at that, guys. I want to grab out the biggest ones. Look at him. Let's see. That's another good one. Oh, there's another good one. I mean, they're all going to be good. Don't get me wrong. There's that crawdad. There he is. We're going to throw him in there. The crawdads will actually eat the dead stuff off the bottom, guys. So we're going to go ahead and put them in there. Get that zip tie out. And I want to see on average, we got some 3.5 and 4 inch ones, but we also got some of these little guys. And guys, these 1.5 inch ones, they actually work really good for white bass, and you never know because elephants eat peanuts. But we got like a bunch of good trot line bait. We got a bunch of good trot line bait. That's the bait tank setup. I only run it for a few days at a time. Like this bait won't be here more than 2 days, and then I'll flush out half of the water. Then I'll put new water in, put chlor out in there, and a half a cup of sea salt. But just a pump from Harbor Freight, it was like 125 bucks. I bought this at Atwood's. I forgot how much I spent on it. I bought it years ago. But yeah, this works for me. In the wintertime, you can keep bait a lot longer. And I recommend setting it straight on the ground. The reason I recommend that is because, yeah, if you set it up on blocks, the water gets hotter faster. If you set it on the ground, it gets hotter slower. So it'll stay cooler in the summer if you leave it on the ground. Anyway, guys, that's it for today, y'all. I'm out, y'all.